You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
It is Tuesday, February 25th.
It's Punchki Day.
It's
so excited. I can't eat them, but to all my friends in Hamtramck, Michigan.
You've already given them up for life rather than for life.
Yeah, which is so sad. But Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, whatever you want to call it. But it's Punchki Day.
Tuesday.
Punchki Day.
Punchki Day, Shrove Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday, February 25th. Two really neat things on deck. We get to travel today, at least virtually. Get to connect live with one of our missionary friends from Lutheran Bible Translators serving in Ghana. So excited to get to have the technology to be able to connect with them in person.
Yeah.
Hope it stays connected. You know how that works. Never know. And also talking about the March on the Arch in the second half here in St. Louis. That's coming up very soon as well, March 7th. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us today, Ali Federwitz, Member Care Coordinator with Lutheran Bible Translators serving in Ghana. Ali, thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It is, what is it, afternoon, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So your day is winding down. So I guess we should say good afternoon for you.
Yeah, thanks. In some ways it's winding up, but yes.
Oh, that's true. I suppose end of the school day and then more family time, I gather, huh?
Exactly.
So, Ali, when did you first begin thinking about serving as a missionary?
Well, it's funny. I can't remember actually focusing on it at any point, but in college I met this boy.
It always starts that way.
Yeah. So, and that boy became my husband, Paul, who was raised on the mission field here in West Africa. So it was through kind of exploring our relationship that I knew if we were to go anywhere with our relationship, I needed to really seriously consider missionary service. So it was never really a conscious decision on my part, but certainly I know God worked in my heart and he changed it to have this be my passion as well.
Share a story with us that shows us what you actually get to do as member care coordinators. Lutheran Bible Translators, we think, oh, you're all translators, but what does a member care coordinator actually get to do?
Yeah, sure. So, the overused saying, it takes a village, is true in any aspect. It does take quite an extensive team or network of people to do any job. So as member care coordinator, my job can really entail anything that our missionaries need to be able to stay well in their location. And so that could be, physical needs, it can be emotional needs, spiritual needs, practical needs of any kind. Those things kind of cross my plate. And as the name coordinator suggests, I coordinate those resources. So it can be connecting somebody to another missionary who has a similar job and being able to brainstorm ideas that way. It could be encouraging them to seek a certain type of medical care, praying with them. I mean, I really have quite an extensive list of things that we could talk about as far as the different veins that are within my job.
Well, let's go back to when you were first in the mission field. Now, you mentioned your husband, Paul, who we've talked with Paul. We've talked with the whole family before here on KFUO. But when you were early in the field, new to the field, who was it that provided that care and that support for you as a new missionary to support you in the field and learning this whole new life? Who was it that supported you?
Yeah, and again, I couldn't pinpoint one person, but certainly a group of people. Here, we've been in Ghana since we came in 2007. So we had a few different teams on the field. One was Nathan and Sarah Esla, and Sarah Esla is actually my teammate, my co-member care coordinator. And then because you've spoken to all the Federwitzes, we've also had, there's another Federwitz family here, David and Valerie Federwitz. We've been blessed to have family with us. But, it just seemed like no matter when a hard time came up, somebody showed up at my door. And I can't tell you how powerful that is, just to have somebody show up. And sometimes it was, someone came in once and cleaned my kitchen for me, provided a dinner for my family. Fellowship is so valuable. I cannot, even emphasize how valuable fellowship is when you're feeling kind of lonely and isolated at times. Even though you're surrounded by people, you still have those feelings. Where do I fit in? Who's like me? And so someone who's like you, who's struggled just like you, who shows up, certainly very powerful and meaningful worship times together as well.
So how does that care that other people have shown you, how does that help you then care for the people it's your responsibility to care for?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, anytime someone kind of extends a hand of friendship, shows us love in a way that maybe we didn't know or hadn't had the ability to show love in that way, it's another way of learning. It really opens up your abilities to love and care for others. So I think I lost your question, Sarah, in my little...
That's right. We're looking at how how you're equipped to care for others, how your experience of being cared for as a new person in the field, how that helped you and gives you a foundation for serving others.
Yeah. So, and like I said, people showing up, but I also think that as missionaries, we all reach a point of it feels like almost complete brokenness. We find ourselves in some really dark places at times in the beginning. And it really takes others to swirl around us to help to build us back up again, to remind us of God's promises. And when you get to those places and you come out kind of renewed and healed and with a new outlook, it really energizes you and gives you a passion, or it gave me a passion to help others during those really kind of dark times. It's almost like a breaking down of self and a rebuilding of who God really wants you to be. I think those experiences are super powerful for helping me to walk alongside others who are going through similar experiences.
I'm just picturing that in my mind, what that's like. There are so many things in life where you can talk about them and try to describe them, but until you truly experience them yourself, it's really hard to express what that is like. And trying to picture what that's like, that being in a new culture, a new part of the world, and as you pointed out, you have the blessing of having some family in the area and other people that you've connected with, but to be so disconnected to some degree, that you feel that isolation, and I forgot the other terms that you used to describe that, what that feels like. But then to come out surviving that, I don't know if surviving is the word. From surviving to thriving. Yeah. How do you go from surviving to thriving, and how do you help the other members do that as well?
Well, never underestimating the power of God's grace in all things. Knowing that there are just some things, no matter how much you prepare for it, you just have to walk through the yucky. And nobody wants to sit in anything that feels just uncomfortable, but knowing that that's just kind of part of it. For me, I was blessed to be surrounded by some people who helped me with the process of debriefing. We had experienced as a family some certain traumas, and this process of debriefing, it's a systematic way of telling a story and really just kind of getting to the heart of an issue. You go through all of your senses and everything that you saw, felt, were there tastes, were there smells, just really getting it out. And often when we tell a friend about a hard time, we're just focusing on maybe the impact of whatever that crisis or that trauma is. We're really focusing on that one thing, but we're not stepping back and looking at it from a broader point of view and trying to see all that was involved in it. And so then those things kind of linger with us, and we take them into the next trauma. And then it kind of decreases our resilience because we've never dealt with the full picture. And so that's really where my passion for member care came in, is experiencing this debriefing process. And then I went through the training as well. So I've been able to help others with debriefing after crisis and trauma for sure. But then even on a different level, each time missionaries go back to the U.S. on what might be called home assignment or a furlough time, there's called an end of term debriefing. So then you're looking at the whole timeline of events and highs and lows and how they all kind of fit together to where you are today. And just really kind of the healing and the growth and the excitement and the encouragement that comes from it. That's really been where my passion has been in this broad field of member care.
What are some of the other unique needs of the missionaries that you work with? You mentioned this debriefing process and the transition from maybe life in the States to life on the field. What are some of the other unique needs that missionaries specifically have on the field?
Yeah, I think living cross-culturally can be so exhaustingly ambiguous. You think you know something about a situation, and then you come to find out that you're just completely wrong because you're looking at it from, a different point of view. You're looking at it maybe with your American eyes, or some other set of eyes that you might have. And so just, offering compassion and grace instead of things like pity and judgment. Certainly being reminded of God's truths. It just seems like, but God's truth, it's truth. How can we forget it? But like I said, you do reach a place of brokenness, and you need people around you to remind you of those things that previously filled you up and made you whole during those times. Lots and lots of transition of many kinds, and actually learning to grieve the losses that come with transition. I don't know about you guys, but I had only really ever thought about grief in terms of losing someone, life and death issues, but not in the sense of, I have lost my ability to communicate with that one certain friend. And that's a loss that I need to find a way to grieve. Certainly maybe not, breaking down in tears, but what am I going to do to address that kind of a loss? Those types of things, I think, are what we deal with really most frequently.
What a good point. And now I have about 10 more questions, and we're out of time. Just thinking about, this is happening in so many other vocations as well, and
yes.
choices of career fields as well, that, in the past we thought of, you do your job 9 to 5 and then you go home and there's a separation between your career. But when you're a missionary, your whole life, your whole family, everything is interwoven into
the lines are blurred.
Yeah it never ends.
Right.
You don't just close the door on your office and go home. You're missionaries. It's your life. That's where you live. What a story that we need to unpack some more.
Yeah.
Allie, thank you so much for joining us on the Coffee Hour. I know that you've got a house full there this afternoon, and things are going to be busy for you pretty soon. So thank you so much, and thanks to Paul for making arrangements so that we could work it out to get to chat with you, give you some time away so we could chat this afternoon.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
Allie Federwitz, member care coordinator, Lutheran Bible Translators. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Eddie Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
More on the way.